The Rogan Report Podcast. Check it out.
All things Joe Rogan by day. Rogan Report Podcast by night. All day. All night. Half hour to an hour-ish episodes once a week.
The Rogan Report Podcast.
All right, Shane, welcome to the Rogan Report Podcast.
Yeah, we're back again.
We are with big news. We're in a new setting here, testing things out in your studio.
Yeah, testing it out. It's different. There's new challenges.
Yeah.
Different equipment.
Hopefully this is all working as it looks like it is.
Yep.
We're here because you're not allowed to come to my house.
No, I'm clipped.
Yeah.
My wheels or my wings have been clipped.
Both wings and wheels.
Quite temporarily.
Do you have to wear one of those bracelets?
No, I don't. No.
No?
I do have a piece of paper that comes around everywhere with me, though.
Okay.
So I guess we can get into the story a little bit. What happened?
Yeah, might as well.
So, stemming back quite a few years ago, I got some fines. I failed to pay the fines.
Yeah.
And kept on failing to pay the fines, and to the point where I kind of forgot about the fines. Whoops. Little did I know there were warrants out for my arrest.
Oh, no. So what happened then? How did they find you?
Well, I was delivering for Skip the Dishes like I do.
Yeah.
Pulled in to get a beef jerky, and the cop pulled in right behind me.
Did they check your license plates? And they
Yeah,
were like,
it was actually a ghost car, and they were just randomly checking plates.
Really?
Luck. My good luck.
Shit.
Yeah.
So, you forgot to pay the fines. Then they were like, had to go to warrant for your arrest.
Yeah.
Then they caught you. What happens? Do they read you your
Well,
rights and put you in handcuffs?
No. They give you the opportunity to pay the fines.
Like
Right.
on the spot?
Yeah,
Like, do you have $8,500?
exactly.
Cough it up.
Not exactly.
Like, what do you got? You got a gold chain?
Yeah.
You got-
No. Like
We'll
they
take
give
your
you
car.
some opportunity to get the money together, but
Okay.
unfortunately, I'm not sitting on $8,500
No,
right now.
A few of us are.
So they took me to the Southwest Division, where I sat on a cold concrete bench for about 3 hours.
Wow.
So I guess this all started about 8 o'clock in the evening. And then once that was done, they actually brought me to the remand center.
Did you have a phone call that you were allowed to make? Did you get one phone call the way they show in the movies?
No.
Did they take your phone away, or they?
Oh yeah, everything.
They took everything.
Everything.
Shoelaces.
Belt,
Mm.
hat.
Smart move.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you don't want people hanging themselves.
Right.
Yeah, never expected in my life to find myself here. I'm a pretty straight arrow most of the time.
Yeah.
My failings.
It's not exactly how I would describe you, but I think it is like a compelling story and a cautionary tale.
Absolutely.
Pay your fines.
Pay your
people.
damn fines. And for me, there's even a bigger story. Don't be a procrastinator.
Yeah.
Just handle your shit.
Get shit done.
Whatever elephant is in your room, get it out of there.
Yeah, I think that's a wise statement.
So while it was a terrifying, I don't know if terrifying is the right word.
Did
It's
you have
certainly an uncomfortable
Yeah,
couple of days.
Definitely. So in the remand center, tell me about the showers.
Okay, so if you've ever watched a show like Lock Up or any of these
Yeah.
Discovery Channel shows,
Yeah.
it's
Oz.
legit, just like that. Not like Oz. No, I wouldn't go with Oz.
No?
No, Showcase has no place in the real world, but no, like it's sort of like a baseball diamond shaped thing, with
Okay.
3 tiers of cells,
Yeah.
and then a main area at the bottom.
You have your own cell, or you got a roomie?
I had a roomie, and for me, it was the guy that was in there, a pretty terrified fellow who was in there just booking at the same time as me. They put us right into the same room together.
Okay.
Which worked out well for me. I didn't have some hard-ass criminal in the cell.
Yeah.
I had a guy that was feeling pretty uncomfortable, just like myself.
Did you get into like what his story was versus what your
A
story
little
was?
bit. He was a Filipino guy, so
Okay.
we struggled through the story. He was, I think he was breaching a restraining order.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Did you make something up for your story about like
Not at all. I mean, I just
killed
I
a
just told him.
guy for trying to have sex with me?
They took one look at me on book-in, and they're like, "Oh my god, this guy's pretty soft."
Yeah.
So-
No
They put me in the
tattoos.
safest part of the remand.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
They did.
That's
There was
nice
a few pretty sketchy looking dudes in there, but nobody tried to rough me up or anything like that.
Did you like talk to a lawyer then and be like, hey, what's going on here?
No, right from the minute I got in there, they told me a fine options officer was going to come to talk to me about my options for paying this thing off. Unfortunately, that took 2 days. So I sat in there and stewed for 2 days. And then my guardian angel came in and said, "Good luck. You're going home today." Or not good luck. I have good news. You're going home today.
And
good luck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good luck with your life. Good luck with paying those fines.
Yeah, and here are the fines. And I must say, doing the community service, I wish I made that kind of money in the real world.
Yeah.
What it pound for pound goes for. Like, I don't have to do that much, and it's going to be settled.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's 105 hours.
Oh, okay. But then you don't have to pay the fines? That
That's
covers
it.
the cost of the
I'm
fines?
working them off. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Definitely a cautionary tale, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, things went a lot better for Rogan last week than they did for you.
They did, yeah.
He was pretty active. Had quite a few great podcasts. I was a big fan. And then there was also not a UFC, but there was a Bellator fight on Saturday. Did you end up watching those? Or?
I watched just the main event.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Pretty good card.
Pretty good. I was disappointed.
Yeah, I
a
was
little
cheering. I was cheering for my boy Rory.
Yeah.
McDonald.
He
Spoiler
got
alert.
smoked.
Yeah, he looked like a little 5-year-old kid fighting like someone in grade 6.
Yeah.
And
those elbows, man.
Oh,
I felt that pain.
Yeah, that was what a terrible mistake trying to. When the takedown didn't work, and he tried to like do a little like sweepy kind
what
of
was that?
spinning back. He like
Dude.
just jumped onto his back and spun around.
And then it was just elbow town
Yeah,
from there, man.
Musasi, known for his top game.
Yeah.
And especially because he was obviously the bigger guy. They weighed in at the same. Rory was actually a half pound heavier than him.
Yeah.
But like Musasi was obviously the bigger guy.
So
and
much
when you
bigger.
have that bigger guy and you let him be on top of you, like there's no way you're getting out from underneath there.
No.
So that was definitely, but also his stand-up plan wasn't working at all. So he had to try something else, right?
Yeah.
The jab from Musasi was getting through like every time. His head's going and whenever someone is fighting and they have like a little bit longer hair and they get smoked in the face and their hair goes flying
Oh
up,
yeah.
that's always
does like the Rocky sweat fly off thing. Oh shit.
Poor Rory.
That was an impact.
So he's getting jabbed pretty good. Definitely lost the first round.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then yeah,
but he wasn't looking that bad.
No.
He
wasn't
looked
hurt
like
that
he was
bad.
feeling it out more than anything.
Yeah.
He's
He's like, okay, I got to make some game plan changes here.
Yeah.
Because he said initially going into it that he thought his advantage would be lasting through to the 5 rounds, and he would have a better cardio and be able to take Musasi into the deep waters.
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
Yeah. He's ambitious, man. You got to give him that. Like,
oh, absolutely.
That's why he keeps ending up in these wars.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking back to Robbie Lawler when he was in the UFC, and
that was brutal.
The Red King.
Yeah.
That's what they were calling him for a while after that.
Yeah.
But he was getting some pretty good attempts or trying to get some jiu-jitsu happening while he was getting his face slashed open.
No, totally.
Elbows, like he's doing his job still.
Yeah.
He never
sure.
lost composure until it was. I think one of those last hits got him in the nose, and you know about his nose history.
Yeah, Rory's
like,
nose does not. It breaks pretty easily. And
that's
it
a big
gushes
old
lot of
beak
blood.
on him.
Yeah.
I can commiserate.
You think maybe he would just get it removed?
Fuck the
Just
nose.
go no nose.
Or just let it get smashed in. Like
Get a steel
who
plate
has that?
put in there?
Andrei Arlovsky has that nose that it's like fucking way over here on his cheekbone. Fix it when you're done, man.
Yeah.
We'll come back to this later.
Yeah. I think just take it off. Get a new one put on
Yeah.
after. Or a steel plate.
Get the skull holes.
Yeah, those are the steel plate with nose holes. Yeah.
Hardcore.
All right. So that happened. But skipping back to the beginning of the week, first episode of Rogan was Teddy Atlas, MMA show 42.
Yeah.
And Teddy Atlas, famous boxing trainer, he is the guy that discovered Mike Tyson when he was 12 and 190 pounds.
Right.
At 12.
Yeah.
Which they talked about a little bit. And he brought him to a fight. And the other guys that were kind of arranging the matchup were like, yeah, right. Like, what how old is this guy? He's 12. Yeah, right. He's 22. He's 190 pounds. Look at him. No, he's 12. And then he ended up agreeing to put him in at 17.
Yeah.
But he was not 17. He was 12.
What was kind of interesting is how he talked about how strong he was mentally, and he even said Mike Tyson back then was not strong mentally.
No, right. Yeah.
He was a troubled youth,
not
right?
like a fighter.
No. He was shaped into the monster he became.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And he's a big advocate for boxing with the younger kids rather than the drugs and all that. Not Mike Tyson, I mean Teddy Atlas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They talked about crooked judging, of course, in both boxing and in the UFC that the judges have really no business being judges.
It's an all too common topic too.
That comes up regularly, and that they should. Why have only 3 judges?
Yeah.
Have 5. Have
Yeah.
10.
And
I
how
think 10's
about
the
let
right
them be
number.
trained in something?
Yeah, they should have to pass some kind of like proficiency test.
Yeah.
Where they watch a video of a couple fighters and they are able to identify who's in the worst position,
Yeah.
who's winning, who's losing, and that would make sense to me.
Yeah. But
And
Joe
there's-
says this all the time too. Why
He
not
does.
have fans?
Yeah,
Like
'cause
people
there's
that know this
that
shit.
could do it.
Yeah.
Super good and
Yeah.
would be like honored to do it and would be, well, maybe they would take a bribe here and there, but
Yeah.
they would be super honored, I think, to be able to be a part of the UFC and something so historic.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to see Joe doing it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But he can't.
He's got enough.
Yeah, he's almost not going to be doing commentary anymore. He talks about regularly if he's going to retire something that he does,
Yeah.
it's probably going to be the UFC.
For sure.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Unfortunately. That's going to be a sad day, and it's going to lose some people.
Yeah, I think so.
They'll get through it though.
I thought Teddy Atlas's stories about his dad being a doctor in New York, those are probably the most compelling
Mhm.
and inspiring stories on the podcast.
Yeah.
So, well, I give it 4 stethoscopes out of 5.
Stethoscopes. It is.
Yeah.
Let me say like 4.5. I really liked listening to Teddy.
Teddy.
Yeah.
And when he got excited, and I guess he's known for getting excited and going on rants, and he was able to do so on Rogan.
Yeah, he was.
we were treated to a Teddy Atlas rant. Awesome. Next episode was 1173, Geoffrey Miller. Now, Geoffrey Miller is an evolutionary psychologist serving as an associate professor of psychology at the University of New Mexico and known for his expertise in like sexual selection and human evolution.
Mhm.
So this podcast came out the same day that Cosby was sentenced. I thought that was kind of a nice little coincidence
Yeah.
as well. They
Yeah.
talked a lot about sex and evolutionary advantages for sex and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. But apparently they built Cosby some kind of cushy new prison though.
Is that right?
He's got email access. Like,
Uh,
he's living it up in the jail cell.
yeah. I mean, it's not surprising, right?
No.
Everyone if you have money, you can get shit done.
Yeah.
He probably donated it to he's like, oh, I'll donate $5 million to the prison. You build me a nice little spot. And then the other 4 million,
Such a
do
weird
whatever.
conundrum, that Cosby.
Yeah.
Like he's done so much for the black community,
Sure.
all this shit, but at the same time, might be the worst serial rapist of all time.
Is a generally terrible human being.
Yeah.
And has a giant, I don't know if it's just putting someone into kind of that position, forced them to be that guy.
Mm.
We talk a lot about predeterminism, and you are kind of a product of all your experiences, and anyone else put into those experiences. Like if you had to go through all the things that Cosby went through growing up to become Cosby, would you also be a crazy serial rapist? And of course, none of us want to think that we would be.
No,
we all want to
Yeah.
think that there's no way we could ever do anything like that. But people do things like that, and it's sick and disgusting. We need to figure out how we can stop. Because I really believe that it's probably a lot more nurture than it is nature.
Yeah.
Like I think maybe we all have a little bit of that born into us, and maybe some a little bit more than others. I mean, if I had to put a percentage on it, I would say maybe 10 to 15%, and maybe some people are born 20 to 25%.
Yeah.
But then I think that 75% comes from your experiences in life and
For sure.
what happens to you. Cosby probably abused as a child.
Very likely.
I'm going to guess there was some kind of weird sex thing that happened to him.
That's very often the case with
Yeah.
rapists and abusers of this type.
So obviously, if we could have get our time machines on and go back and prevent that from happening, maybe that could help stop him from being. But also, I think just being put into the position of, he had a lot of pressure on him to be the role model that everyone wanted him to be for the black community.
Yeah.
Right. And he did a good job of I guess, elevating issues for Black America.
Mm-hmm.
But it obviously went south with this terrible habit of drugging women and then raping them.
It
while
kind
they
of
were
erases
unconscious.
all the good things he did.
Yeah, it kind of does.
And, that's a bummer. I grew up watching The Cosby Show, man.
Yeah, I laughed. It was pretty funny. Putting in the Judy.
I mean, it's kid shit,
Judy
though.
That's
I can't see myself laughing at it now. Well,
No.
especially not
No,
now.
especially not now.
But even before, as an adult,
Gross.
yeah, that's a heartbreaker.
Yeah. So
anyways, we went off on Bill Cosby there.
Yeah, going back to Geoffrey Miller, they talked a lot about psychedelics
Yeah.
and commercials made against cannabis. Those hilarious ones from the 80s, where they talked about specifically the one where there's the dog that like sees her like sister or whatever.
I just want my best friend back.
I just want my best friend back, man. It makes me sad when you get
so
high.
strange. Oh, God.
Yeah, there was some really hilarious commercials. I remember maybe 6 months ago going through and looking at all the old commercials I could find. The Brain on Drugs with the eggs,
The classic eggs one.
the egg one, and
Yeah. There was a cartoon one. I wish I could remember it now. I think it had all like the cartoon heroes of the 80s, like the Muppet Babies and all kinds of crap. I can't remember what it was now. I'm going to have to research that.
I don't know about
We'll
that
circle
one.
back to that one.
The one that like sticks out the most in my memory is there's like a group of teenagers, maybe 18 to 20-year-old guys, and they're laughing. They're in a drive-through, and they're like, "Oh man, fucking, I'm gonna order a cheeseburger. Get me a cheeseburger!" And then they like don't have any money, and they decide to speed out because someone forgot their wallet. And they're gonna rip out of the thing, and they run over a kid.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and it just takes this like real sharp turn.
The fuck
for,
does
like,
that have to do with weed
Yeah.
or anything?
real dark turn. Well, presumably they ran over the kid because they were high and distracted.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have certainly ran over the kid just being idiots and being in the circumstances of needing to make an escape from the drive-through. That's my memory of it. I haven't seen the commercial in 6 months. I think I did watch it 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So I could be off a little bit, but yeah, it was like a really lighthearted and like, oh, it looks like fun hanging out with those guys that are high. They seem like good dudes, and then bang, they run over a small child.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't smoke marijuana and drive, which is probably a good idea. You know,
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people that have done and may probably do it regularly.
Yeah. But
I think, especially as we go towards legalization here, we're just a couple weeks away. Probably a good idea for all those new people that are getting into marijuana to definitely draw a hard line and say no smoking and driving, just like we have no drinking.
I would agree. And also, there's always the thing to consider that people that smoke it and have been smoking it for years, it's a far cry from someone that's suddenly going to smoke it because now it's legal and they're not going to get in trouble anymore. They're going to get a lot more impaired.
Yeah,
from that.
Intolerance.
Like even if you think back to when you were a teenager and
yeah,
the first thing happened, you know.
I just think sometimes too, like I would smoke weed and I wouldn't really realize how high I am, and then all of a sudden I'd be doing something and I'd be like, holy shit, I am like super high.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have that realization when you're behind the wheel.
And there is that correlation to drinking and driving too. You don't
Totally.
always realize how drunk you are until it's, you know.
Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to say about Geoffrey Miller?
No, that wasn't a standout one for me, honestly.
No.
I had a pretty eventful week. That one was driven right out of my head, actually.
3 out of 5, 2.5 out of 5.
I won't go 2.5. I'll say 3.
I enjoyed the conversation when it was happening. I remember enjoying it, but like you, it wasn't really super memorable.
The topics following in the week actually had a lot more to do with me, and when I did get out and listen to them, it was, two great battles we'll get into it. The first one there was Dom DiAgostino and sorry, I'm blanking on the other fella's name.
Dr. Layne Norton.
Dr. Layne Norton.
That was 1176. That was the last one.
Oh, I've got the order all completely wrong.
Yeah.
My apologies.
1175 was Chris Kresser and
Right.
Dr. Joel Kahn. So I listened to that one because I tend to listen to them in order.
Yes.
Which would mean that Vinnie Paz, 1174, was first before either.
Oh,
of those.
I'm skipping Vinny too.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I don't know. We don't have to talk about them in the
No,
order they came out.
let's do it in order. That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Well then, Vinnie Paz. So Vinnie Paz is a rapper. He's a lyricist behind the Philadelphia underground hip hop group Jedi Mind Tricks. He's also a frontman for hip hop supergroup Army of the Pharaohs. So even just from the titles of those two bands, you're like, all right, this guy's
interesting.
Yeah, interesting and at home on Rogan.
Yeah.
I thought, just he sounded from his, like, he's got the voice of someone who's partied a lot.
For sure.
As soon as he started talking, I was like, oh, this guy's seen some shit.
Sounds a little street.
Yeah. And then he got into later, he's like, I used to drink 2 bottles of vodka every night.
Of Grey Goose. Yep.
2 bottles of Grey Goose every night, alone or not alone, partying, just no matter what was happening. I was like, shit. Made me feel a little bit
dark,
better.
man. That's a lot of booze.
That is. Made me feel a little bit better about my drinking problem, honestly. I was like, okay. I especially this last month, I did have a drink just about every day. I think I maybe took 2 or 3 days off, but certainly no 2 bottles of Grey Goose. I'd have
No.
like 2 drinks.
Good Lord.
To sometimes 6, to sometimes I think 1 or 2 times I had 10.
Does he even feel the fucking booze anymore at that point? Like,
yeah, it's just like out of habit. You got to really be. I wouldn't be conscious.
no.
How do you not get alcohol poisoning drinking that much?
Exactly. I would for sure.
Yeah. So they talked a little bit about Dead Prez, one of my favorite hip hop groups. Then the song Discipline and how discipline makes things easier.
Yeah.
So if you have discipline, things stay disciplined. It's harder at first, but then it gets easier as you go and you get into routines.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling that right now because, like you had done, I'm doing a new diet. I'm doing sober ketober is what I'm calling it. Now I don't know if I'm going full ketosis mode. I'm not checking my blood or anything, but I am doing lower carb. So far today, we're recording this on the 1st of October, and today I've done, I've had all my meals, and I'm at about 40 grams of carbs.
Okay.
For everything.
That's still pretty low.
Yeah, pretty
They
low.
say keeping under 100, you're still going to definitely lose weight, and you're going to maintain, and more importantly than losing weight, you're going to switch your body into a fat burning type situation.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm also doing, today I had a 10-hour feeding window.
Oh, okay.
So I ate at 10, or less actually, maybe 8 hours. I had my breakfast at 10, then I have my last meal at 7.
And then how long are you going to go till the next? Just
tomorrow
till
morning,
10 again the
probably
next
till
day?
10,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I close tomorrow, so I should be able to eat at 10.
So that's like a light, sort of mild intermittent fasting, kind of.
Yeah, I figure, I got some momentum now after this first day. And so I'm just going to try and build on that every single day and keep it going, which was kind of cool about having these next 2 podcasts of Chris Kresser and Joel Kahn, and then Dom D'Agostino and Dr. Layne Norton, because they talked all about the stuff that I'm basically just about to do right now.
Well, yeah, you've got your vegan versus carnivore, and then you've got, well, not really carnivore, vegan versus protein fat diet.
Yeah.
And then your keto versus low carb versus low fat.
Yeah. Although the keto versus low fat, they weren't really versus. They were both saying like, yeah, no, that is good too, and they were kind of a lot more.
They did a lot of agreeing.
They were a lot more agreeable than Chris Kresser and Joel Kahn.
Yeah, that got rowdy.
Yeah.
You can see which side Joe took too, and that happened pretty quick in the podcast.
Yeah. He was pretty obviously Chris Kresser. Yeah. He's had Chris Kresser on before.
Yeah, well, he's had both, hasn't he?
I don't think he's had
maybe not
the Joel Kahn character. I think he was trying to stay impartial, but obviously Joe, from the research that he's done and from his experience, he's experimented a lot with his own diet.
He's no slouch, right?
So
he's a smart dude himself.
Yeah, so he believes pretty strongly, although he calls himself an idiot and says he doesn't know anything about diet, but he believes pretty strongly in what he does with his body and with his food.
Yeah.
So as soon as Joel Kahn was throwing out his studies, they were like, nope, all your studies are bullshit. They're all done from this what do they call that kind of study?
No, not that one.
It's the word for when they just did surveys, essentially. Where all these studies came from is from the 60s. They did surveys where they asked people, what do you eat on a regular basis? And people would fill it out. Oh, I eat fish and I eat cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
And epidemiological.
That's what the word is. I knew it was an E word. I had it in my head while you were talking.
I just have to, we didn't have Alpha Brain again. Thanks, Rogan.
We're going to get this sponsorship. I swear to God.
On it, we need some Alpha Brain. But yeah, so these epidemiological studies were pretty tainted. And because we know that memory is shit. And we know that people they're just not accurate in what they say. They commonly underreport, especially higher calorie eating people, aka obese people. I'll say it. AKA me, all right, whatever.
I wasn't me.
Yeah, I saw you fucking look at my stomach, you bastard.
No, I didn't.
No, I would be considered definitely well overweight. I'm not the fattest guy in the world, but when I weighed myself today, and I was pushing almost 270, 268.
Yeah,
that's a lot of poundage. I remember when I was biking a lot, and every single day I was riding my bike, and I was in the best shape of my life when I was 20 years old. And I was 210, 220. So, I'm still, even when I'm in great shape, I'm just a big guy. I have a big frame, dense bones. But yeah, I'm probably 50 to 70 pounds
Do you feel like you feel that walking around or no?
Not really. No. I mean, yeah. I'm still, even though I'm pretty fat from all my eating and my bad decisions with alcohol, I'm still in pretty good shape because I play a lot of golf. I play 40 to 50 rounds of golf a year,
Yeah.
and then in my job I get over 10,000 steps a day just in my job. So my average steps in a day are about 14,000, and if I like golf and work in a day, I'll be 30,000 steps.
And you're never using a golf cart when you're golfing?
I did more this year than ever before because I bought this membership thing that included a golf cart every single time, and it's like if I'm paying for it, I don't feel like I'm going to use it. Yeah, but I prefer to walk because I like part of what I like about golf is I get some exercise.
Enjoy the day.
I played today actually.
Did you?
It was snowing this morning, and it was 4 degrees, and I went out there. I played 9 holes and got 7,000 steps in.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I was playing okay. I wasn't putting very well, but I was hitting my driver and my iron as well.
Yeah.
So,
Sweet.
listeners, there you go. Update on Ruben's golf.
Were your fingers getting numb out there?
No.
Yeah.
No. Again, good circulation, and I wear a glove on one hand, so that's the hand I'm using to like push my golf cart with my clubs on it and pull the clubs out, and then the other hand, it just kind of comes onto the club to stabilize when I'm swinging, and that's only for like 15 seconds or so at a time.
Yeah.
And then I'll keep it in my pocket when I'm walking.
Yeah.
I wore a sweater. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I wasn't out there in shorts and a t-shirt, but
For our listeners in Australia, and they exist, by the way, it gets cold as a witch's titty over here in Canada.
Yeah, it was 4 degrees Celsius when I was out there.
We were supposed to have a nice warm September, I thought.
Yeah, it just jumped right into winter.
It's going right to
Feels
winter.
like, we had a bunch of snow there early on, and then it snowed a little bit today. I will be golfing again on Wednesday, which is the nicest day of the week this week. It's sunny and 5 degrees.
Oh, sick.
A couple degrees warmer
Fucking
than
balmy
today. Yeah. Maybe I'll wear my shorts and a t-shirt for that day.
Yeah.
Okay, so back into our podcasts. 1174, Vinnie Paz. They talked about it, so Dead Prez, that Discipline song, and then I went on a little Dead Prez. I was like, man, I got to go listen to some Dead Prez.
Yeah.
How well do you know their catalog?
Not.
No?
Not.
They have a song called The Way of Life that is really, really good. It's like largely about martial arts, actually.
Okay.
And it's just kind of a unique in the way the phrasing of it. It's like very kind of staccato and short phrases, and they rhyme, and I don't know. I'm a big fan of that song. And then one of my favorite things is there's like the indie hipster band Grizzly Bear, and they mixed hip hop with 2 weeks, and so it's like the 2 weeks. It's Grizzly Bear's 2 weeks instrumental, but then they've got the beat and the lyrics from Dead Prez.
Oh, cool.
And you probably know the song Hip Hop. It's bigger than hip hop. Yeah.
Yeah.
You heard that one? Right. Yeah, that's one of my favorite like mashups, maybe the best mashup that's ever happened.
Oh.
It's either that or the one where they took Psychosocial from Slipknot and they put it over top of Justin Bieber's Baby. So they took out Bieber's voice and they put in the like screaming and yelling of Psychosocial from Slipknot. That might be the best mashup of all time, but Hip Hop 2 weeks is a close second.
I'm going to have to hear both of those.
Yeah, you definitely should. Listeners, go look those up and you can thank me later.
Yeah. He was talking about mumble rap, and instead of kind of coming at it like a lot of the older artists do.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
He's like, he recognizes I'm a fucking old guy now.
Yeah.
I don't get these young people.
Yeah.
Just like if old guys didn't get me when I was young.
Exactly. No, he had a great point with
That's
that.
such a great point.
Yeah. If I was out there in the club living the life that these youngsters are living now.
Taking Molly and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably would enjoy it. But he was saying also they were like out buying a house and the mumble rapper was like still mumble rapping. I'm like, I'm going to fucking room over here. I'm bathroom renovate. And you're like, how are you existing in society? Like, fine, do it for your art, but when you're speaking to me, you're a realtor. You got to tell me you want to renovate the bathroom.
God damn.
Yeah, and take those stupid tattoos off of your face.
And then there is the real worry how fucking into drugs these guys are.
Yeah.
Like you just had Mac Miller, who's I don't know if he was really a mumble rapper, but he just died of a drug overdose. You know, and that's happening. They're doing a lot of drugs, man.
Yeah.
They're not fucking Tupac and Snoop, where it was all about smoking some weed and drinking some Hennessy. They're
Yeah.
taking fucking hard drugs.
Do you think that because they did talk? I mean, obviously, crack they talked about in Snoop's and Dre's. And all
Yeah,
the old
more like they were
gangster rap.
selling it to fucking.
Yeah, they didn't talk about doing it much. It was all about like selling it.
Not a great message either, but
But they were probably doing coke as well. I got to
Yeah.
assume, and they're probably doing. They wouldn't be doing all because there just weren't as many drugs available. I guess then.
yeah,
There's a lot of new ones that have been created since.
yeah, that's true. I like to always think that my fucking heroes were just smoking some weed, though.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
that was definitely the main thing
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's still Snoop's main thing.
Yeah.
So they talked a little bit also. Part of the podcast that I really enjoyed was he talked about how he writes, and so he'll start with a beat. Like he has a producer, they'll give him a beat, and they'll give him a bunch of beats. He'll listen to them, and then when he finds one that he really likes, he'll just listen to that beat on repeat.
Mm-hmm.
And just like I just did right there, he'll just rhyme words and just start spitting whatever comes out of his mouth until he gets like a concept that he wants to expand on. And he said the hardest part of it is getting that first line. That
Right.
first line kind of sets the theme for the rest of the song.
Yeah.
And so he'll do that 5 nights a week. He'll just like work on writing and coming up with ideas for songs and concepts and listening to beats. And then every single week on Thursday, that's recording day.
Yeah.
He records every Thursday, like we record every Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he writes the rest of the week. So I thought that was like great work ethic, you know, to be putting it in like that. And maybe not everything is golden. I assume it's not.
No.
But I think getting yourself in the mindset, it's like the war of art. You know, you got to put in time and do the work and like,
Show up.
hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
So Vinnie Paz, anything else you want to say about Vinnie Paz?
No, I mean, I'd never heard of him, but that's like so many times on the Joe Rogan Experience, I discover new people that are interesting and
At
worth
first,
looking
I was
into.
kind of not into it. I was like, I don't know about this one. I was feeling like a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
New York gangster rappers, but by the end, I would say he turned me up to a 3.75.
Yeah, I gave him a 4.
Okay.
What are we calling it? Gangster rappers?
Yeah, I don't know.
Nice. Gang symbols.
Yeah. 3.75 gang symbols
Yeah.
out of 5.
Nice.
So then 1175, Chris Kresser, Dr. Joel Kahn. This one annoyed the shit out of me.
Sure did.
I was like, my God. And it was the longest episode by far. It's like 4.5 hours. And I felt like it could have condensed it down to 45 minutes. And they both would have gotten all the points. They just were basically repeating themselves.
That's because Joe would not let fucking
Joel Kahn?
Yeah, would not let Joel Kahn not answer his questions.
That's
like,
true.
No, bitch. You didn't answer me, though. You're trying to change the subject, and you did not answer this question.
Yeah, no, and I get that, too. So I guess good on Joe for that, but also bad on Joe for not realizing that that's going to make a shitty podcast.
Yeah, it was...
And
what did we cover? 3 points? Like,
yeah, exactly.
and didn't cover him because nobody came to an agreement or anything.
No, and you can't come to an agreement because there isn't a burden of proof to say that definitely it is this way or definitely it is this way. You know, it boiled down to if I could just boil the whole podcast down to about 3 minutes here, which we can do and we will do. Joel Kahn was saying that he's a vegan, and he's saying that is the best way. If you want to be the healthiest person possible, you should be a vegan, because being a vegan is going to lower your risks for all these diseases, like mostly heart disease.
Yeah,
he's a heart doctor. That's what he specializes in.
Yeah,
and he's saying that if you eat animal protein, that's going to raise your cholesterol, and having that higher cholesterol puts you at an arbitrary higher risk of heart disease.
Yeah,
and Joe and Chris Kresser are saying that's bullshit, because what they're not taking into account is that the people that have this arbitrarily higher cholesterol, if they do, it's not because they're eating like super healthy meat. It's because they're eating terrible regular American diet, fast food, and that's what's leading to this obesity crisis that we're having in the States. It's not the like super healthy game meat that Joe's out hunting.
No. And even if you step back from the game meat and talk about beef and shit in the grocery store, that's not what's causing this shit.
Right.
It's the corn syrup in everything.
Yeah, it's super highly processed food that we eat.
Having gone on keto, when you take away shit like that, there's not much left. You got to get creative sometimes.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true. I had my first lettuce wrap burger today.
They're nice, right?
No.
No?
It was
Come on.
awful. I was like, give me a bun, man.
Where's the fucking bun?
I don't know. I had one from A&W.
Oh, okay.
Which was, already kind of a shit burger when it's at its best with the bun.
Yeah.
So I just noticed that they did lettuce wrap. You can make any burger there a lettuce wrap, no charge.
Yeah.
You just say, hey, lettuce wrap that bitch.
You want to make it yourself because then you can pick a nice crisp piece of lettuce. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can make that. Actually, I hand make my patties too, and there's 0 carbs. Everything in my burger is 0 carbs, except for maybe like the tomato gives you just a bit of carbs.
Right.
But
I think that because obviously they put some sauce on the burger.
Yeah.
There, so there would have been some.
You're getting
from
some
that.
peripherals.
I was looking at it because it's the app that I'm using to track it. There actually is lettuce wrap team burger in the app.
What's your app called?
It's MyFitnessPal by Under Armour.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Works pretty good. I've almost never found something. Sometimes, like if I'm making something home, like a peanut butter and banana sandwich, like I can't find the exact bread and the exact peanut butter necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably could if I searched it a little harder. But I just like type in peanut butter banana
I think
sandwich.
peanut butter is pretty general.
Yeah. So.
And if you want to get into the weeds with peanut butter, I actually bought this one. It's natural, all peanuts, and it's got sea salt in it. You store it upside down in the fridge because it separates.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking good.
Oh, that sounds delicious. My girlfriend's highly allergic. She'd die.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's like super allergic to just about everything in life,
Wow.
but like peanuts, all different nuts, coconut. So I just got into coconut oil when we started.
And she's
dating.
super allergic?
She's super allergic, anaphylactic allergic to coconuts.
That's one of the fucking staples.
Yeah. So
but you don't need it.
For me to go full keto is definitely tough. Because I can't have all those other
Even if you break down to like a 20% carbs, 30% protein, 50% fats, it's going to change. It's going to change how your whole body processes everything.
Yeah. I can look in the app at and look at my diary for the day, and it'll give me the breakdown of percentages of what I ate. But I don't know.
Is it factoring your steps too, or not?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But the amount of calories that it gives me seems like higher than what I feel like I should be eating. Because if I put in, because I'm pretty, like I said, obviously already pretty active, it'll give me like 3,500, 4,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that seems like about what I was eating, and I was not losing any weight.
So I mean, it's about kind of calories in, calories out. You take less in, and you're going to keep working like you work. That's only naturally going to burn off more, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're feeling comfortable eating less, I mean, that's a bonus.
Yeah. Today, so far, I'm at about 1,000. And
calories for the day?
Yeah, a little. Well, let me pull it up. I can tell you exactly. Maybe 1,100 and some.
Yeah. The budget I use it's $14.90, but I often go up to $1,600. But yeah. Actually, since I was picked up there for my mishap, they don't exactly have keto-friendly meals in the slammer.
Right.
So I've been off keto since last Thursday.
Did you notice a difference in how you felt?
I feel like shit.
Oh yeah.
I got heartburn, but I've been eating bad all weekend. Like once I saw I was off, I was like, okay, I'm going off.
Yeah,
I'm getting back on tomorrow.
Cheat weekend.
Yeah.
Why tomorrow? Why not today, Monday, first day of the week?
I don't know. Because I felt weak this morning.
You're an asshole. I'm actually at 1,545 calories for the day, more than I thought.
Yeah.
But I have 175 remaining. This gives me 1,720 right now, but that's because I set it for that. I set myself as my activity was super low.
Yeah.
Because when I put my activity into what it normally is, and if I add the steps, it just goes off the rails.
I'm also going to be off the rails again this weekend. I have 2 events.
Yeah.
Most importantly, the Khabib fight.
Yeah.
Conor and Khabib. I'll be eating some bad shit for that.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it, but I mean, the whole plan was to watch that at my house.
I think that can still happen.
Oh, you're allowed to do that? You're just not allowed to go?
No, I'm allowed out.
Oh.
I just can't drive.
Oh, okay, I see.
My wings are clipped.
Yes. Now I get it.
I also can't go near a drinking establishment.
Okay.
Which was, if we didn't do your party, it was going to be probably at a pub.
Yeah, O2s.
Which definitely isn't happening now.
Okay, that's
for
fair.
me. I mean.
My house is a registered drinking establishment.
Is it actually?
That matters.
Well, now that you've said it live on the podcast, we aren't having it at Ruben's house.
There's been a lot of drinking done there. It's not registered. I like to think of it as a
yeah. I don't drink anyways, so that was an arbitrary rule, but it's just one they give.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I take care of myself in other ways.
So, Chris Kresser and Joel Kahn. Yeah, that was the whole thing. Joel was defending and using these old studies, and they would say, "No, that's bullshit." And they're saying that the healthy foods are healthy foods, and if you're eating them, as long as you're taking care to eat good meat and to eat good whole, balanced diets, that you're going to be healthy.
Yeah.
Which that makes the most sense to me too.
And they brought up quality of life too. Like that's a big one for
that
me.
is a big one. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Got to be able to enjoy some mouth pleasure.
And they mentioned
Sometimes.
some of the concerns with living vegan too, like some of the cancer risks are higher, and it's not black and white.
No, you definitely have to supplement. And even if you do want to be vegan for, ethical reasons and just you feel better about doing that.
No, I honor that too. Like,
sure. Yeah. You know, I'm not going to knock anyone for that.
No.
But you can still get ethically grown eggs, which is animal protein, which is.
I mean, that's all the eggs we eat. They're not unethical.
Well,
I mean, I guess you talk about the factory, but I'm saying we're not eating babies.
No, right.
We're eating periods.
Yeah. Well, it depends on if the eggs are fertilized, because
yeah,
if there's roosters, the eggs will be fertilized, and then you're eating
balut or something. Isn't that what it's called in the Philippines? Balut. It comes out as hard boiled, and the thin little bird in there has got some feathers.
Yeah, I guess. I don't
tasty.
know. That's a pretty late term. I don't know if I would. I've had eggs.
I certainly didn't say it with the right accent.
No, that's pretty gross.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I think it could have been boiled down to about 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
And it was 4.5 hours, and I give it 2 dirty lettuce leaves. Out of
Soggy
5.
brown lettuce leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on the 2, man.
Moldy.
I like to hear Joe fight for his point, but
Yeah. It's too much.
it's too much. Yeah. Let it go.
Then 1176, not doctor. It was Dom D'Agostino, PhD, and Dr. Layne Norton, also PhD.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Doesn't PhD mean doctor?
That's what I thought too. I was like, but they don't call him doctor at all. And,
No.
And the other guy, there's Dr. Layne Norton. So maybe it's because of his degree is in medical dissertation for his
Maybe that's what it
doctorate,
is. Yeah.
Whereas the PhD that Dom has is not medical. I don't know.
This was a better arguments on both sides, actually. I found with this one.
Yeah, I would agree. I'll give you the breakdown. Dom D'Agostino, PhD, is an assistant professor at the Department of Molecular Pharmacology and Physiology at the University of South Florida, Morisani College of Medicine, and a senior research scientist at the Institute for Human and Machine Cognition, IHMC. That sounds pretty awesome. Yeah, that's a reputable title.
Yeah, man.
Dr. Layne Norton is a renowned prep physique coach, pro-natural bodybuilder, powerlifter with a PhD in nutritional sciences.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he's a doctor and Dom isn't. Dom seems to have the more impressive job and title. I'm taking doctor out of my notes for Layne Norton.
Yeah. It's Layne Norton.
Layne Norton, PhD. Same as Dom.
And Dom. Yep.
All right.
Dom's been on the podcast before.
Sure. Talking
maybe more than once.
Dom's a big keto guy, right?
Yeah.
And then Layne was not keto. He likes to flex his meals, and I think that there's some good. Like you were saying you were likely to go in so you could still use carbs. What is it called to be like flexible in your
targeted keto? So this is if you're going to do a hard workout, you can allow yourself a carb load, and it shouldn't throw you out of ketosis because you're going to burn those carbs right away.
Yeah.
You actually need them.
Yeah.
To get a hard workout in.
Or
that's been kind of one of the not downsides with keto, and it's been kind of contested back and forth, but it's not necessarily the best thing for building physique.
Right.
Or training for a fight, or
Right. Well, especially it's the time of switching. Like unless you're fully fat adapted or keto adapted, you're gonna go through some. Like I felt like today, I was feeling the keto flu. And that's only my first day.
Fast.
And I was like, oh my! After I
it
had my
gets
last meal, I
worse.
was like, man, I'm so hungry for like some carbs. Oh, it sucks.
Isn't it stupid too? You don't even know what carbs necessarily you want. You just know you want some fucking carbs in there.
Totally. I was like, I knew I was full, but I was still hungry. And I was like, this sucks.
That does stop though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
You got to be creative though, because if you eat too much steak or like too much of one thing that you know you can have a lot of, it gets old.
No, I'm lucky. My girlfriend's doing the whole thing with me, so we've been talking about meal planning and kind of working out our plans and looking at what are the things I can have from the food court in case I fuck up and I don't bring my lunch with me. But we are going to mix it up, and we've got the internet at our fingertips, so we can really research different things and try new things. And I'm looking forward to it. I think the biggest thing for me is getting some momentum on my side. I feel like it's almost the exact same as when I quit smoking.
Yeah.
I smoked cigarettes for, I don't know, 10, 12 years or so. And the last, it was fun when I was a kid. It was awesome. But then once I was like 22 and like super addicted, it was no fun anymore. And I didn't want to smoke, but I knew that if I didn't have a cigarette, I turned into a giant asshole and was mean to everybody.
Yeah.
And so I needed to have a cigarette every hour to 3 hours. And I did enjoy smoking. I guess
It becomes so insidious though. Like it's a part of your day. Like you have to. Like you're not getting your break unless you go have your smoke.
Yeah. No, and if you're running out of smokes at night, you have to make sure you go to the store. You're like it really controls your life.
Totally.
And there's so many downsides to smoking cigarettes, and all of them I knew, and I'm telling them to myself over the 8 years or so before I quit.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'm setting a date, and I got myself some Nicorette. And my whole plan was it was July 1st. I put out my last cigarette before I went to bed.
Yeah.
And I got up the next day, and I was going to try to just go as long as I could without having a cigarette and without using the Nicorette. And so I got up and I went to work, and I was like, fuck, I definitely want a cigarette. I'm angry, but like I'm working. Okay. It's like, now it's, I got to work at 8. I'm working till 10. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty pissed right now. Yeah. And then noon rolls around and I go for my break and I have lunch, and the after eating cigarette,
that's rough,
was like a big one for me. I used to always need one after eating. And so I had it. I didn't eat, or I ate, and then I didn't have a cigarette, and I was like, oh my God, I am going to murder someone. Yeah. So then I'm like, okay, this is definitely a strong enough craving that I'll use my Nicorette. And I had a piece. I had the 4 milligram high power Nicorette, and I had a piece of Nicorette, and I could not believe how big of a difference it made for taking the craving away. Like the actual physical craving that I was having was like, boom. It was like
just
10 seconds, and it was just completely gone. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit. Okay, new plan. I'm not going to try to use the Nicorette sparingly. I'm going to use the Nicorette, and whenever I start to have a craving for a cigarette,
shut it down.
I'll just shut it down. Yeah. And then it took the physical craving away, and then because I really wanted to quit, it was pretty easy for me to just stay. And then after I got through that first day, I had a day of momentum and then a week of momentum after the first week, and I didn't want to fuck up and have to go through everything again. I didn't want to have to go through quitting again. So that made that week more valuable.
You almost start holding yourself accountable, like you're going to be guilty or something if you do it, right? Like that's how I sort of felt. I quit 6 years ago now.
Okay, congrats.
Thanks.
I did it first.
You sure did. Yeah, I did it with.
What did you use? Any?
No, I went
just severe cold turkey.
So with a preface.
Okay.
I've always been a smoker of the cannabis, and I never stopped doing that.
Oh, okay.
So I always had that hand to mouth that never went away. I smoked way too much weed for like 2 months. Oh, okay. And then that petered down, and I no longer was a smoker. But it was rough, man. Like my focus went away so hard.
Yeah.
Like, I found myself drifting and like just not focusing on shit. Like I'd start daydreaming out of nowhere. Like I find the nicotine really snaps your into focus, and this is talked about a lot. Yeah. I think even we've brought it up that
for sure
it helps with
Stephen
creative
King.
Process. Yeah, Stephen King
talks a lot about it.
Yeah,
you read his book on Ready?
Actually, a bunch of times.
Nice.
Yeah, I have listened to that maybe 10 times on audiobook.
You own it, and it's in your on your phone right now.
Not anymore. No, it's actually been a couple of years.
Fair enough.
Same with the War of Art, though. I've listened to that a bunch of times too. I'd like to let things sink in when it comes to stuff like that.
Sure.
And have it basically imprinted in there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, that's great. Congratulations on quitting smoking. It is a beast.
Same to you, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I do feel like it's one of the hardest things.
Spoiler alert. This happened a long time ago.
Yeah. I found, because I was a marijuana, cannabis, like a fairly regular user up till the point when I quit smoking cigarettes. I quit smoking cigarettes, and then I just kind of didn't really feel like smoking weed anymore.
Yeah. You liked the clean feeling of not having the smoke.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
So that was kind of when I stopped using cannabis. No, I still, well, over the last, as has been documented on the Hijacked Headspace podcast,
Yeah.
I've been using it now medicinally, and I smoked it for the podcast again, somewhat regularly. And before that, it would be like, okay, I'm going to go see a funny movie once a year in a theater. I might have a couple hoots if my friends are having hoots or at a campfire somewhere.
Yeah.
But like I would never buy it until this year when I started using it medicinally. And now I'm like, I don't know, I do like it medicinally, but I don't feel like I need it as much anymore.
Are you using
even
it topically, like as a cream? Or?
I have an oil, and I'll put like less than a milliliter, like maybe half a milliliter, which works out to maybe 10 to 15 milligrams of THC into my tea. I'll just stir it up in my tea and drink it. And definitely, it's crazy how this tiny little amount really makes it taste like cannabis.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like the taste of it.
Yeah.
And then the whole reason I was using that was just for, I broke my back like 5 years ago. So it's a skiing accident.
Yeah.
And went on a big jump and overshot the landing, landed in a flat spot. And every time, like I went through a year of rehab, and I'm pretty much back to 100%.
Yeah.
But when I wake up in the morning and when I go to bed at night, as soon as I lay down, it like is stiff, and it's kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't really call it painful. It's not like an acute pain, but it sort of aches a little bit.
Okay.
And so like when I'm going to sleep, I'd have this tea before bed.
Yeah.
And that's what I was kind of using the cannabis for. And yeah, it definitely helps.
Were you using a low THC, high CBD formula? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But even it was still about 10 milligrams of THC.
Oh, so you're still feeling
which
it.
you can still feel, yeah. And a couple times too, I'm like, I'll just use a full milliliter or 2 mils. And yeah, definitely noticed. I was like, okay, that's too much. Now I'm too high and I can't sleep because like I close my eyes and I get crazy visuals when I close my eyes, like cartoon neon like visuals.
Oh shit.
From cannabis. So I guess that's kind of a fun ride if you plan for it, but if you just want to go to work the next day, not so good because then you get like 3 hours sleep.
I've had a few adventures with making edibles.
Yeah.
And got myself pretty buggered.
Yeah,
in a weird situation.
It's hard to dose them. I mean, I guess that's the beauty about it becoming legal and becoming just more popular, more part of the mainstream, is that they're able to diagnose what like a dose is, right? And a dose, I think, typically for people is about 10 milligrams.
10 milligrams. And you're going to get fucked up if you're not used to taking edibles.
Yeah.
10 milligrams will get you high.
Sure.
100%.
Yeah. Some people, though, like are eating like 1,000 milligram edibles.
Good Lord.
I remember people yelling at us on Hijacked Headspace. And we're like, yeah, so we like ate a 500 milligram cookie. This and I was like, fuck you, 500 milligrams. I ate 2,000 for breakfast. I'm not even high.
This is kind of like that young people's shit. Like, you guys are nuts. Like, with your shatter too. Like, fucking just roll a joint, man. Like, why do you have to smoke 70%? I even had a pen for a bit there. I was fucking with me. Like, this is stupid. How high am I trying to be?
Yeah, you don't need to be that high.
Jesus. I'm an old school sort of guy, though, I guess. But
yeah, me too. And now, just I don't really feel like, no, it's not my favorite thing, but I'm still a really strong advocate for like its legalization and socially. I'm a really big advocate for it, even though I'm not really a user myself.
Yeah.
Although I am, but not as much as.
Well, coming up on this legalization, for me, it raises some questions about like all the people that came before that have had their criminal charges put on their name and all this. Like,
they should be wiped clean.
Should they? I mean, they should. I think they should, but they did break the law that existed
when it was a law.
But I'm saying that as a guy that's been breaking that law since I was like a teenager.
You should go back to jail. Yeah. I'm gonna call your parole
Actually,
officer.
every single person asked me, "Did I do drugs?" And I never heard that, not once. And every time, like, I don't care about that. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking about drugs, which is great to hear out of a correctional officer's mouth.
Yeah,
like we've made strides.
No, that's totally true. It is basically, even before it's legalized, it's been an accepted part of our society for a long time. Other than in few places where you still have to get drug tests, or they'll not let you have a job there.
Well, and having a fucking giant bag of weed you're obviously going to sell on the street still going to get you in trouble like it did before, even more maybe.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if they crack down on some of these illegal vendors once it becomes legal.
Yeah. Well, and it's like with tobacco. You can't grow tobacco and sell tobacco.
No.
It's illegal.
Can you not
maybe
grow
you can
it?
grow it. I'm
I
not
think-
sure.
Yeah, I don't know the legal about that. You definitely can't sell it though.
No.
All right. Well, we're coming up on an hour here. We did commit to being half hour to an hour ish.
That's true.
So-
Have we covered all the episodes?
Yeah, the Dom DiAgostino was the last one. Today, of course, they did their talk of sober October.
Yeah.
And I'm doing sober Keytober. We will break down that episode next week, and I guess we'll talk a little bit more about what's been going on in our lives and how sober Keytober is going for me,
For sure.
or sober low Carbtober.
I'll be back on it. I'll be a week back in by the time we're recording again,
Right
so I'll be
on.
able to commiserate.
And possibly back in jail.
No.
No?
no. No.
I hope not.
No, that's never happening in my life
I'm rooting
again.
for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Follow us on Twitter. Do all the social medias.
Thanks for all these followers all over the goddamn world.
Yeah,
It surprises me
thank
every
you so
time I
much.
look at these statistics.
Yeah,
Like,
thanks
blows
for
my
checking
mind.
it out. Thanks for following.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing us some love. Thanks for sending us, most half of the money in your bank account via e-transfer to our.
That's
to
so
our,
appreciated.
Yeah,
Um,
I really appreciate that. You've got our email, the Rogan Report @gmail.com.
Shoot us a comment. Got any criticisms?
Yeah,
Like our podcast on iTunes. Give us a 5-star rating.
yeah.
All
Tell
that
us-
shit.
We do want to talk to you guys, and if you talk to us and you say something cool, we might even talk about it on the
Yeah.
show.
Do you have a question?
Then
We'll
you-
answer them.
Yeah.
Probably all of them, because there ain't gonna be that many at first.
Yeah, we'll
So,
see.
we'll
We'll see. I'm
we'll
not
see
going to
about
commit
that, but
to it, but yeah, send us some questions, and just thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's probably enough of us sucking your dicks now for,
yeah, put
for
it
the
away.
last few
That's
minutes.
it.
And yeah, bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Joe Rogan's unique perspective is teaching us all how to best live, and we will attempt to recap all of his weekly podcasts. Now show your support and download the Rogan Report. The Rogan